Here we go.
Here we go.
Okay, let's try this one more time. Welcome everyone to the Road to Nowhere podcast. I'm Extreme from Extreme FCW Gaming. This is Jimmy G from Jimmy G Smack here on Twitch and Jimmy G Experience on Facebook. We welcome you all to another episode of the Road to Nowhere podcast. We hope you guys are having a good Wednesday. Yes, we are starting later than we are supposed to, but technical glitches and I'm a lazy douche. Whoops. That's why we're starting late. I do apologize. It's all my fault. Legit, 100% all my fault. Although
And
this
I'm
guy
just,
was messing with something a little
I-
while
I'm,
ago.
yeah, but I've been messing with that since 8 o'clock this morning, to be fair. And I told you I was ready to go at 9:30. I just needed to click that go live button. And then like you said, it was all your fault that you messed up and decided not to push buttons and not to make sure things were up and open. And that's not me, bro. That's not me.
I just realized that the media source for the song was still going, and it's a lot louder than I thought it was. So I'm gonna have to find a way to tinker with that and get it to lower. Um, but that being said, uh, we don't have it like always. We never have a plan when we go live each week. We usually try to have some kind of idea, but it never works out. This week we are going to discuss the TennoCon announcements. I'm going to give my real brief thoughts and opinions on the Solstice event that launched yesterday in Destiny and all the server issues that have been plaguing video games since Saturday. Um, So yeah, we'll talk about all that today. But how's your day going, dude?
My day is going pretty well, actually. I woke up this morning kind of irritated because my kids have issues when it comes to talking. And instead of using their words like people, they yell at each other a lot. But no joke, dude. This is how I woke up. My son is telling my wife, tell him to shut up then. I'm like, first of all, you don't tell my wife, you don't tell your mom to do anything. You're the kid. You follow directions. You don't give orders. Number one, first and foremost. Second of all, do I like it when you guys fight? No. Do I like being woke up? No. So how the hell do you think I feel about you guys waking me up by fighting and then trying to boss your mom around? Not good. No, you're right. Not good. Not good at all.
Some days like this, I'm glad I don't have kids at the moment. Anyways, oh Lord,
Yeah.
you look like you're about ready to strangle one of your children or me. Don't strangle me, all right?
You too
Did nothing
far, but I
wrong.
would strangle you before I strangled them, just to be fair.
I know. I just be like, "Hi, James." Yeah, yeah. Fucking
Yeah.
murmuring part right there.
The
Oh
funny
man, that
story
just
about
dated
that
us.
situation, the funny fact about that situation. So I went to Oklahoma, and this is before met my wife, or just after I met my wife. So somewhere between 15 to 20 years ago, when the fire was happening out here, like the first big one, the one that started to intrude on El Cajon.
That was
And
2003. So you guys were already married.
no, we got married in 07.
Oh, I know that fire was in
Um,
like 2003.
Yeah, no, yeah, exactly. That fire was before we got married. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
It was in the
yeah.
beginning of our
I worked
relationship.
at Toys R Us back then. Speaking of which, that's the other thing we got to talk about. Go ahead.
Um, so I went to Oklahoma before that fire. And when I came back, I packed up all of my crap, all of it. And I was ready to move to Oklahoma. They had a job lined up for me and all this stuff, but
I think I remember
that never
this.
happened. But regardless, before I left, before any and all that, I went to Oklahoma and I go to my buddy's house. This dude's been my friend since I was in elementary school. While I'm there, I go to his parents' place and they're like, oh, he's at so and so's house and doing this and that, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So his sister and I jump in the car, we go on a road trip, we go to this dude's house, and I knock on the door, acting like I'm the cops. Bah, 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 right? Some rando opens the door, and I see my buddy sitting on the couch. My hand comes straight in the house, flipping the bird. Boop! You know? And the dude who answered the door and the dude who lived there both were like, are we going to have to fight this big motherfucker right now? Like, are we going to have to get down with this big dude? And my buddy, he's sitting on the couch. He's like, and she starts mean mugging, dude. I'm like, what? What are you going to do? Fuck you. And I started talking trash to this dude through the door. Mind you, the guys that are there, they don't know. They just don't know. And I come in this house without being invited. The dude who lives there stands up real quick. My fists go balls, like my elbows come out. I'm ready to put my hands to my chin. And my buddy comes at me and he just gives me a big old hug. These guys are like, what the hell just happened? I'm like, yeah, we were about to throw down if you'd have come to me first. Like, I'm not afraid. And at that moment, these two dudes are like, I'm glad he needs to be on our side. Let's go to a bar. Let's see if we can cause some trouble. Thanks, guys. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. That sounds about right. Oh, God, dude. So, how do you follow that? Anyways, so I don't know if you heard about this, but apparently someone has bought the rights to Toys R Us, and they're bringing it back nationwide. This was
it
in
Donald
a news
Trump?
story I read. No, it wasn't Donald Trump. If he did, I would have been like, "Oh God, that's going to fail." Like every other
Democrats around world. F Toys R Us.
Yeah,
but the toys are at a stupid discounted price, and you can get just about anything there. I don't care. It's owned by Trump.
That or he just straight up, like, let's be honest, the dude was a horrible businessman. In all honesty, he really was, dude. The main reason he stayed rich in some of his businesses stayed afloat is because they were just cash cows. Like, they just kept pouring, like, money just kept coming in no matter what they did. And there's proof of this.
That's good business.
That's a good business when that happens. But when you have so many other businesses,
hey, bro, not every idea is a great idea. I mean, no, you became friends with me. That wasn't a great idea for me.
No,
I mean,
hey, fuck you. but and it's just like, this is the fact. He's not a horrible businessman. He just makes some really bad choices.
Oh yeah,
that and then lets other people kind of like,
fix them,
over, and that's where yeah. So that being said, I still don't like Trump. I'm not going to change my mind about that, and that's not going to change. I think he's a bad business person, and I think he would be bad for our country, especially right now with literally everything going on. He has formally stated that he is going to run again. I can see it happening.
I don't see the party accepting his no, deal.
I don't.
There's somebody else that's so much better right now. I can't remember who it was, but anyway, let's get off politics. Toys R Us.
Yes. But yeah, so Toys R Us is coming back, and it's expected the nationwide stores will all be. They're not going to be these massive stores like they used to be right out the gate. But they are coming back. The plan is to have them nationwide by the end of next year, and like in big stores. But we'll see how that works. But yeah, Toys R Us is coming back after the original company, which stood for like 30, 40 years, 50 years this company was around. It went under bankruptcy because of Walmart and all these other companies that, came up and just made Toys R Us obsolete, Amazon included in there. They're bringing it back, and it's going to be more of like a very catered to the kind of toys that you can get at these places like at Walmart and Amazon, but they're also going to kind of be more nostalgia based. So I don't know. I saw that in the news story I read today, and I was like, dude, that's fucking cool. What's even funnier is when I first moved to Billings, there was still a Toys R Us here in 2018. They'd closed everywhere else. We're driving into the city, and I'm like, is that a holy shit? And they're open. And I asked my dad, mind you, I'm sick as a dog when this is happening. And I'm all, I want to go there real quick. And my dad just kind of looked back and he goes, no, no, we're not going to wait. No, we're going over there right now. So we drove up to it. Sure enough, it was open. It had full stock. And I'm like, how is this a thing? Less than a year later, it was gone. It's now Planet Fitness. And next door to it, in the parking lot, they're building a
A Chick-fil-A?
Chick-fil-A.
I mean, those Mormons,
So,
man, they're reaching out. They're reaching out.
so I'm just like, yeah, no, no, that is the way this city is going already. I've corrupted Billings on my arrival, apparently. So, um, but yeah, so I saw that story and I wanted to. I honestly didn't even think about it until you had mentioned something, and I'm like, dude, yeah, I should bring that up. So yeah, the full details are out there. I don't know them 100%. Like I said, I glanced at the article. Um, but yeah, it's apparently it's a thing. And I'm like, I don't know why, but when I first read it, my initial thought was, why? And then they started, as I said, I read it and it said it's more of like a nostalgia thing. And I was like, okay, that's cool. If they don't try and get too crazy and they just stick to toys, maybe instead of doing what the last incarnation of Toys R Us did, where they had baby formula and car seats. And hell, at one point they were doing t-shirts and clothing. And I'm like, the store says toys. I don't see a lot of toys in here anymore. So, um,
Yeah. Yeah.
so yeah, I mean, if that's what they do, if they keep it a toy store, exclusively a toy store, and that's going to include video games because people still consider video games toys. But if they have that, and that's how it comes back, I could see it being successful in this day and age instead of what it was. Because, like I said, it was basically a kids Walmart. I know I
Yeah.
used to work at one. So, yeah, it literally was just a kids Walmart. So, but that's kind of cool. I thought that's something I should mention since I remembered it. Um, but like I said, the meat and potatoes of this, we need to talk about what's been going on in gaming over the last week. Um, I'll start with the bad shit because I just want to get it over with because I talked about this on my stream yesterday, and I don't know if you've heard about this. Very recently, developers for AAA and independent games have all been, especially those with rabid fan bases and player bases, have been seeing an uptick in a certain kind of attitude from the players, especially the truly rabid and obsessed. It was brought mostly to the forefront with recent events that have happened inside of Destiny, well, with Bungie specifically and their developers, as several key lead developers, lead designers, whatever, for the game came out and said that certain things that were in the first Destiny will not be coming to Destiny 2. Okay, that makes sense. They have a plan for what they're doing, and there's a reason why this item is not coming to this game. Well, people took it upon themselves to say, hey, fuck you, you should die, and I'm going to kill you, and all this other stuff. Legit death threats were sent to this person and to these people, along with extreme amounts of hate to the point where Bungie put out a memo saying you are no longer allowed to discuss the game on your personal Twitters, Facebook, stuff like that, out of respect for themselves. Bungie has asked the employees not to talk about it so they will basically avoid this going forward. The problem with that is, as the players who want information about changes and other things that are coming to the game, you now have to wait for official releases or for the community managers to say something about it, because this is the only way that they have deemed it safe for their employees to interact with the public on any level is so long as they don't talk about the game at all. Um, and that was further brought up when a developer was just having a casual chat with some players, and people started asking questions, and the developer just shut down their Twitter account because they couldn't talk about it, and they started getting harassed because they weren't talking about it.
Huh.
So it's not just in with Bungie's developers in the game of Destiny, but it's actually affecting, and this has been going on quite very quietly. Like it was happening for the last 2 years ish, but this recent stuff has brought it to the forefront, and it was actually featured in an article. I think it was, oh man, I don't know if it was the Wall Street Journal, um, but a very predominant um, gaming writer started a dialogue with one of the developers, and in the course of that dialogue, others came in and started kind of, actual like game developers from other companies were coming out saying, yeah, this isn't the first time it's happened. It's been happening for a little while now, and it's been getting worse and worse and worse. This is just the extreme end of it. And so in my stream yesterday, I briefly touched on all that and then proceeded to say what I'm going to say now. And that is, this kind of attitude has been around for a while in our society. And it is a very generational thing because the bulk of the people doing it are in their early 30s to early to mid 20s.
Hmm.
So it's that generation of people that are and have been since they were kids. They have had this freedom of, I want it. Okay, it's mine. Give it to me now. And then you tell them no, they throw a temper tantrum until you give it to them. Well, and that's not working anymore because all of these kids are now adults, and they're because this is how they live their lives as children. They're acting that way as adults and going to the extremes. It bothers me because this is the generation that is also getting very heavily involved in activism and politics, and it scares me in a big way because if that's how they act on social media with anonymity behind them, what's going to happen when they finally grow some balls and they don't care about their face and their name being out there? I mean, this is what they're doing to just people who are entertaining them. What are they
Right.
going to do to people who are actually like doing something important? I mean, we've seen it with the marches against Trump. As much as, okay, I heard something in the background. I was like, what the fuck is that? Stupid ass vacuum. But it just it's absolutely unnecessary. And to threaten someone's life, to threaten their livelihood, to just be a shit human being to another human being, it bothers me to in a big way. And the fact that people who make the games that we enjoy, yeah, we don't agree with everything they do in the games. I mean, I know you've talked about certain elements of Rocket League and Call of Duty that you're like, I don't like. No, this is shit. This is stupid. But you're not out here threatening the developers' lives. You're not out here, calling them a shit ton of names, harassing them to the end of time because you're pissed off about something in a fucking video game,
Right.
you know? And so I did a little research on this prior to my little rant yesterday and even more so today. This isn't just affecting game developers, it's also affecting television writers and movie writers and people who are creating things that we get to enjoy. We've talked about this before. I know we have, because I can hear myself saying the same shit I've said before. But the fact that it's being brought back up again because it's not only still happening, but it's getting worse. And it's now starting to infest the entire industry that is video games. It's changing the way a lot of these studios have handled putting information out there. And so very soon, like it's very likely that you're not going to get the same direct, interaction with game developers that I've personally come to enjoy. Getting that information, those little nuggets of information have always helped in like knowing what's coming in the future, that's all going to stop here pretty soon. Like, because developers have to, these companies have to protect their employees from this kind of bullshit. And I don't think people understand how much this affects that. But it's also, like I said, it's affecting other industries. It's affecting the film and television industry now because they're getting it. And it's like, why? I I can't understand why you morons are doing this. Even though, yes, I know this is how you were raised. Your mommy and daddy didn't give you a fucking spanking when you were a little shit. But what justifies this? And so my question for you, and again, like I said, we've talked about this before, but how do you feel about
I mean, I'm on the same page as you. I feel like society as a whole is just a bunch of crap, and people are crap humans. And I don't really like people most of the time anyway because of it. So,
it?
I
I know.
mean, there's not a lot that differs between us, like it's just stupid nonsense crap that we all as society apparently have to deal with because people don't know any better.
It's I don't know why, again, like I said, we've talked about this before, but it's not that it's a hot topic. It's not like it's on front page news, but it's something that needs to be addressed. And um the one of the developers, or the community manager, sorry, for Destiny, he came out and said, you know, complacency is a big deal with this issue because yeah, people are doing this, but who's calling them out? Who's putting the spotlight on them and bringing attention to their behavior? No
Right.
one's doing that. Now, that has changed since he stated this. It has definitely come out, but it's like, why did it take someone actually saying, "Hey, call these assholes out on this bull crap?" Because if unless you want it, you're going to lose all this stuff that you have had and have received from us. That's all going to go away. Our communication, our two-way communication, is going to become a one-way communication, and that's it. That's basically what he put out there. And I guess that made a lot of people go, "Oh crap, no, we got to stop this." And that's the follow-up to this. So the last time we talked about it, nothing was being done about it. Well, since then this happened, he tweets out, people need to start holding others who are doing this kind of stuff, acting this way, showing this kind of behavior. They need to be held accountable for their actions. They need to be called out for it. And you can't condone it. You can't sit there and treat them the way they've been treating others, but you need to spotlight it so people know this person is just being a shit human being.
Right.
And it makes it easier for the devs to go, "Oh, that guy's a shit person, block." So they don't have to deal with that harassment. That is one of the greatest tools of social media, is you can block people. I've got people blocked on my account just because they asked a question that I thought was dumb, or I get harassed by people trying to sell me their services to do graphics and stuff, which I really just sit there and shake my head. Like, I've said it 100 times on my streams. I do it all myself. Stop asking me to pay you for something I can do very easily on my own. Will your shit look better? Oh yeah, absolutely. But I take pride in my work and I enjoy what I come up with. So no. Anyways, um, but it's one of those things that if we spotlight these people who are acting this way and we call them out and we shut them down, I think it's a little too late at this point. I think at this point it's become an element of just the culture. And with all these younger people coming up, seeing that and going, well, what are they going to do to me? I'm a kid. So now they're doing it, and their kids are relentless and ruthless about it because they have that sense of, well, I can say these things, and the worst I'll get is and that's it. And sadly, that is in most cases what's going to happen. They'll get a slap on the wrist because they're kids, they're teenagers. It just pisses me off that it's gotten to this point where something I've enjoyed and taken for granted is about to be taken away from me because of a small minority that is growing into a majority. And it's behavior like this that's just, I mean, I got bullied as a kid. I know you did too. The only difference is we grew up and then we started shutting those fuckers off, and shutting them down.
Yeah.
But it took us getting to the point where we just said, fuck you. And we stood up for ourselves because no one else was going to do it. That's the society we grew up in. All these people acting this way, they didn't get that. They didn't have that. They didn't have people, you know, they couldn't they couldn't get away with it at school. They couldn't get away with it in private, but online, they could get away with it. And they're still getting away with it. And there's nothing that anyone can really do about it. It's just like I want to bring the conversation away from just what's happening in the gaming industry, essentially, and I want it to be why is this still being tolerated? I mean, this goes to the Supreme Court, and not the Supreme Court, but the Senate. They've talked about how to deal with it, and this has been going on for almost 20 years now. Yeah, about 20 years. This kind of shit's been going on, and they still can't decide or agree evenly on how to deal with it other than stick the FBI on him. But the FBI has so little power, they can't really do anything unless someone actually gets harmed in the process. But what about the mental harm, the emotional harm that is happening to these people and kids that this is being done to? And so it is, I don't know. I don't know where I was originally going with this. I just wanted to bring it up again, so people understand, like, if you see people online acting this way and treating just anyone, doesn't matter if it's a game developer or a script writer, it doesn't matter, not just any other human being, treating them like an absolute piece of shit, threatening them in any way, call them out, you know, do something, anything. I mean, I don't know. I'm just kind of sick and tired of it. And I just wish this kind of behavior wasn't acceptable by so many people, not just in this country, but in the world. Because this isn't just a problem in the US, it's a problem around the world. But it's just really bad in the US. So, okay, let's get the fuck away from that conversation for a while. Never touch it again. Um, so TennoCon was this past Saturday. Uh, I was co-streaming it. I don't know if you saw that, but it was okay. It was exactly what I expected it to be for the most part. But the announcements that came out of that, if you're a fan of Warframe, the very near future looks really, really good. But the thing for me that came out that I thought was interesting, and this is the one thing I want to bring up immediately with you, is the original key development crew behind Warframe is splitting off within the same studio and creating a new game called Soulframe. And it looks kind of like their take on the Elder Scrolls and those kind of games. Just it's their version of it. It looks really sick. At least the trailer that they put out on Saturday looked really, really, really fucking cool. And I was curious if you had seen that yet or no.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, well, if you want to look it up real quick, the trailer is for a game called Soulframe. Um, it looks sick as hell. And if you can look that up for a second, awesome, let me know. But it's very much like a medieval kind of game. It's not like Warframe. It's not sci-fi. It's more mystical, magical, kind of a thing. I got like Lord of the Rings vibes from the trailer, and like I said, Elder Scrolls, which that's another thing I want to touch on regarding the recent announced nerfs that are coming to the combat system. I don't play the game. I have a lot of people that do, and I want to get your take on that whole situation. But coming back to that,
Soulframe is
um,
apparently a band as well.
what?
I said Soulframe apparently is a band as well.
That's fucking funny. Well, if that band doesn't own the fucking rights to their name, they just fucking got screwed. Um, so, but yeah, this I don't know when the game is coming out. Apparently, more will be announced later this year at the VGA's Video Game Awards in November. So, I'm excited for it. I'm definitely interested in playing it, and if it follows the same realm that Warframe did, as in it's a free to play game, and all you got to do is download it. And if you want to support the game with microtransactions, you can. Um, I'll definitely pick it up and play it, and hopefully it has crossplay built in from the start. Because if this game, I think I was something I would invest a shit ton of time into, not just on stream, just for fun. Because these are the kind of games I like. Like, I don't know, it just when I was watching that trailer, I thought this looks fucking sick, and I'm very interested in what the hell is going on too. Because yeah, the trailer doesn't really clearly indicate what the hell is going on, but it looked really cool, and I'm excited for that. So there's that. They also announced that crossplay is coming. The official launch of it should be sometime in the next, I'm estimating the next 2 months. Um, I know you're not probably gonna, start playing Warframe anytime soon, if ever. So there's that. But anyone that watches this and that plays the game, you'll now be able to play with your friends, even if they play on PC or Switch. And this is a thing that people who play that game have wanted for a long time, me included, because it just opens the door. And I have friends that are on Xbox, like you. I have friends that are on Switch, and you can play this game with them, even if they're on the Switch or the Xbox or PC. And so it gives me the freedom to play with my family and others that just aren't on PlayStation, and I'm looking forward to that. The other things they announced were the next big update and the next expansion, I guess you could call it, for the game, and that's all coming hopefully before the end of the year. We'll see. But other than that, I mean, it was another essentially just a overhyped dev stream, which is their like monthly announcements of what's coming, things they're working on, stuff like that. And it looked cool. Um, but I enjoyed doing that, and I look forward to doing that some more if the opportunities persist. So yeah. So have you had a chance to check out that video yet, or no?
I have it going right
Oh
now, but every video I've come across says it was fucking 5 to 20 minutes.
yeah, the trailer was at least 5 minutes long. So well, I mean, how about this? How about you get a time sometime in the next week, you check it out, and then and I'll look into see what more information I can about it, and next week we can talk about it on the show. So, because like I said, they put out a bunch of information about it, but I haven't looked into any of it. So there's that. But so I'll look into that, and we'll talk about it next week, and I'll send that to you as I find it, and so we can make that a big topic for next week. But so yeah, Destiny Solstice event went live yesterday, and they've done this year over year for the last few years, and I don't know how I feel about it. The new event book, whatever, that's a thing. I mean, okay. Um, the rewards for it that were tied to triumphs and stuff, those are now tied to event tickets that you can earn by doing certain things in the game. All of that's there. It's exactly what they said they were going to be in that regard. But the actual activity that came alongside the event, it's essentially the same zone that they've used every single year that they've done this thing. It's just they changed it a little bit, and it definitely feels a little more fluid as opposed to previously. You were hunting for these enemies, kill them, and then at the end of it, you would get a reward X amount for how many you got. And you would get a decent amount of rewards and you'd get extra stuff with it. I don't know, maybe it was just me, but the fact that the changes were so immediate and noticeable from what it normally used to be, I don't know how I feel about it. I've only played for like an hour, and I was in there completely solo. So I don't know how I feel about it 100%, but I don't know if I want to invest a crap ton of time playing it. That being said, I definitely want to get a decent roll on the shotgun and the hand cannon that you can get from the event, especially with that glitch that is currently live. Because I've seen some of the interesting things you can pull off with that, and man, I know they're gonna fix that real fast. Like, so I'm gonna go take advantage of it a little bit. But yeah, I definitely think if you can, you should get on there and play a little bit. Maybe after we get done with the podcast, if you're free, we should go do that. Just saying.
Well, I get it. I understand. I cannot guarantee that that's going to happen because it's also Roy's day off, and he and I like to do a lot of streaming and playing together too. And this is legit the only day that we get to play together now.
Yeah. Well, you know, you do your thing, and if you end up not doing anything with Roy, let me know. I'll be here. So the last thing I want to touch on in today's episode, because, well, I mean, shit, we're only gone 39 minutes. Damn. Yeah. It feels a lot longer. I don't know why.
Because you've been talking a lot. Yeah.
Way too much. I want to I really do. I want you to come up with something. So the servers went down on for Warframe on Saturday. Canada, by and large, I don't know if you've heard about this. Their internet system has just been destroyed since like 2 weeks ago. And it's now starting to affect the games that are, you know, based out of Canada. Warframe got hit. They weren't hit as bad as some other developers were and some other games were, but they got hit. Destiny had some issues yesterday. They were supposed to be offline till like 11 o'clock my time, 10 o'clock Pacific, and they ended up extending you jumped in yesterday. They ended up extending the downtime. It was supposed to be till like 2 p.m. West Coast time, and it ended up being the game went live at like 1 o'clock, and they didn't put out anything about it because they were still kind of dealing with some issues. But I don't know. That's the only thing I hate about always online games is that if the servers go down, you're fucked. You got to wait till the servers come back on.
Yeah.
And Bungie is unfortunately notorious for taking the game completely offline and just it's done, you know. And they take it offline at the most inconvenient times. Like instead of doing it at a time when there's the smallest amount of players are going to be online, they do it at a time when everyone's trying to get on and play the game. Now, mind you, they took the game offline yesterday at 5:30 in the morning, West Coast time. It was still offline till 1 o'clock. I don't know what they were fixing or tweaking, but that's the longest period of time it's been offline since, you know, PlayStation and Xbox got DDoSed a couple years ago. So that was fun. But yeah, I don't know what's causing this. I don't know if there's some sort of thing going on. I know Destiny's offline issues yesterday were purely based on, you know, Bungie doing its maintenance and whatnot, but it's all this other stuff going on. It's like, why are all these games going down? You know, is there someone legit out there, like some group out there trying to just be assholes and just ruin everyone's fun?
Yes, there is.
Yeah, that absolutely tracks. So yeah, so there's that. So speaking of always online games, Elder Scrolls Online is supposed to be getting an update here real soon, like if not already received it, I'm not sure which, in which the combat system is getting a pretty heavy nerf. And so there are some real diehard fans of the game out there basically have said they're going to stop playing the game because of this. I'm curious how you feel about that and what you know about these nerfs that are coming.
Honestly, I don't know jack diddly about the nerfs and updates and stuff for Elder Scrolls because I haven't touched the game or looked into anything about it in a hot minute. But I'm telling you right now, if they nerf any sort of combat stuff in the PvE, I can't see a lot of people continuing to play that game because, like you and me, we all got into a game when we had a group of people. And the combat being this OP situation where we can defeat anything at any time because we're all big, we're all powerful, you know.
Yeah.
That's when the nerf should have happened. But now the game has existed for so long that a lot of people have died out. They've strayed away from it. They've started playing other things. That if they nerf it now, where there's still the one-off here, one-off there that goes in and plays it, like myself or my son or my brother, to where now we can't even do bosses on our own, there's no point because we have no one to play with. So why the hell are we going to go play it? Like, I can't
Yeah.
beat that world boss because I'm by myself and nobody else is online or wants to play it because they're all burnt out or they got, they got their fill or whatever the case may be. And so all that's going to do is destroy it because again, I play solo. Like, that's what I do. And it's not by choice. It's because everybody else I know that bought the game has decided, this game kind of sucks. I don't want to play it anymore. It's a lot
I
of
know that
repetitive
experience.
nonsense. It's a lot of repetitives like Destiny. It's very, very repetitive when it comes to certain things, trying to get gear, trying to get armor, trying to get weapons. Like, it's very repetitive. And there are only a few places you can go to get stuff. And for Elder Scrolls, a lot of it is world bosses. So again, if I can't beat a world boss for myself and I don't have a party and I don't have anybody online that wants to do it, then I'm running around doing either A, missions I've already done, or B, I'm collecting herbs to make potions and stuff, or C, I'm just trying to find the little oddball things throughout the realm and finish the map. Now, if I've already done all that, then what's the point? World bosses, right? And if I can't do the world bosses, why play?
Yeah. So apparently, as I was looking into this is a directive that came down from Microsoft, which is now the parent owner of Bethesda. They flat out said, like, look, you have to make this more accessible. So Bethesda's response was, okay, we'll make it more accessible for everybody. So we're going to nerf the combat system in a way that it's so the way it's been explained is that the nerf was too heavy a nerf and it directly affects ability weaving in that game. And so it's basically going to make it to where, yeah, you won't be able to do exactly what you're just saying. And that's pissed off a large portion of the player base. And the people that were available to try this on the PC beta servers have basically said, if this is how it's going to come out and you guys aren't going to improve it, yeah, I'm done.
Yeah.
And since then, Bethesda has come out and said, yeah, no, we're not tweaking it. This is exactly how it's going to come out. So, as you said, this is going to kill their game. And I think that might be part of Bethesda's plan because that studio has been like, yeah, Microsoft has kind of put them to task to get this game, and this game out in the next like 4 years. So they just don't have the manpower to keep doing all that and maintaining Elder Scrolls Online. So this might be Bethesda's way of trying to just get it killed because if they can't maintain it the way they want to maintain the game, they're done. And I think they're starting to
I don't
realize their partnership with Microsoft just blew up in their face.
Yeah, I don't blame them for being done, but I do blame them for destroying a game that had potential, that had a following, and you know what I mean? Like, it was a moneymaker for them. I mean, I invested in Elder Scrolls Online Plus, the EO Plus stuff, where you had no bag size and or bag limits when it came to herbs and things on the map where you have to like craft and stuff. And I spent 2 or 3 years, which is a couple $100 just to have it. And then I haven't really played very much after that because, again, my people I was playing with decided they were kind of over it and they moved on to other games.
Yeah.
Now, with Bethesda saying, okay, look, we're not changing anything, we're just going to have it this way, that says to me that, hey, so and so wants to run our company, let's see how they can do it. Let's just toss it, see what
I
happens.
mean, that's kind of what it's coming down to. It's if Microsoft if the article I read is 100% accurate, and I have to put that out there. The article I read is available online. I will find it and post it through Twitter, but it very clearly indicates that this is a directive that was handed down by Microsoft to Bethesda to make the game more accessible for newer players as they want to attract newer players to the game. That's fully understandable because Destiny tried that. In their process of doing that, Destiny almost got killed off by Bungie, and they realized their mistake quickly enough that they fixed it. Problem is, Microsoft doesn't care. They're all about all inclusion, which I fully understand and I fully embrace, but there comes a point where it's like, look, inclusion doesn't mean destroying your game, and that's basically what you've asked them to do is destroy the game so they can reallocate their personnel to make these other games. Because that's basically
Right.
that's what's happening. And I get it, you know, but at the same time, this was like you said, it made money. It made a lot of money. So why would you kill it? Intentional or not, that's basically what's going to end up happening because these hardcore players that have on PC that had a chance to play it, a lot of them have stopped playing the game already, just based off of the little trial that they had. And Bethesda had to come out and, like I said, reading this article, the statement that they put out was they aren't going to be retuning the nerfs at this time, but they also didn't indicate that they were going to look at it down the line or whatever. So the interpretation is this is how it's going to be. If you don't like it, there's
Oh,
nothing we can do about it because our bosses are now saying this is what they want and we have to make it that way.
yeah.
So it sucks, but it's the way it is. I mean, you see it with other games that Microsoft bought the studios for. I'm curious how this is going to affect Call of Duty. This year is the first year that Microsoft is going to be the direct owners of Activision and Blizzard, and so I'm curious how this is going to affect other games. You know, because obviously it's having effect over Bethesda. So what happens to the next Call of Duty? Not this one, but the next one. What happens to uh, Warcraft, World of Warcraft, which has been a big game for Blizzard for fucking forever? Microsoft can now literally just kill it. And what are they going to do? Like these are supposed to be money pits, not money pits, but they're supposed to be fucking cash cows for this company. And it kind of feels like Microsoft is trying too hard to push this all inclusive thing. I will
Yeah.
never play World of Warcraft. I will probably never play Elder Scrolls so long as it doesn't have crossplay because I'm not going to go out and buy an Xbox just to play with you and Danny and anyone else I know that plays that game. That's absolutely asinine to me. And even if I did buy an Xbox, it's not
See,
going to be to play Elder
it
Scrolls.
has crossplay. It just I think it's console to
It
console and
No,
PC.
it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It has zero crossplay. It has cross generation play. So if you're on Xbox One, you can play on Xbox X. If you're on PlayStation 4, you can play with people on PlayStation 5. But you cannot play PS to PC or PS to Xbox or Xbox to PC. You cannot do that. The servers are not designed for that, and they never
Mhm.
intended to change that. So Microsoft, that's another thing Microsoft is pushing is for the crossplay. Well, they can't make it happen unless they completely shut the game down, which that could also be a point of this nerf is to get enough players offline that they can take it offline and then put in new servers that would allow for crossplay or to ultimately change the engines to allow crossplay to be a thing. I don't know. But to me, this is the first time a major game, mind you, I've never played the game in my life. I've heard about it, but to hear that this game is about to basically kill itself, it's unheard of for that to happen.
Right.
Developers don't make a game to kill it. They want it to survive as long as possible. They want it to be enjoyable for the player base as long as they're supporting it.
Right.
I don't know why this would be a thing, and I don't know why Microsoft would take the gamble other than they see an opportunity to make more money down the line, but they're going to lose so much money in the forefront of it. It's like this is nuts. I mean, it's Microsoft. They've done some really dumb shit over the years. Let's just call a spade on that one. I mean, that Zune player, which was their version of the fucking iPod. Yeah, those things
I have
sucked.
one. I have one.
Those things sucked. I Here's my thing though. I hated all those things because I was like, why? Especially since,
Let's be real.
you
Let's be
know,
real. You hated it because you couldn't buy it.
no, I hated it because in all honesty, I just thought like, okay, this is what it does. It has all these little bells and whistles. I don't want all the bells and whistles. I want a button that it says play skip track, fast forward, rewind. That's it. That's all I fucking wanted. And both the iPod and the fucking Zune player had all this extra crap, and I'm just like, I don't want any of this shit. And for the price tag as well, it's like just to play music. Although the Zune player did also play videos, if I remember correctly. But it's like
No,
the
maybe
screen
the
is like
big one,
freaking
but the
big.
little one did not.
Oh, well, I don't know. I remember that and I was like, it looks cool. And if you have the money and you want to invest in that, go for it. I'm not going to shame someone for doing that. But I thought it was dumb. And they've done
Right.
some other dumb things. They released the upgraded Xbox One like a year and a half before they released the Xbox X. And I'm like, why would you spend all this money developing this just to turn around and release a brand new console?
Yeah.
That's a little nuts. Like, and it didn't sell well. It did not sell well at all, and it had problems. So you could tell they basically got to a point where they just said, "Fuck it, package it, sell it." And Microsoft has the money to do that kind of thing, which is sad. This goes back to the Xbox 360 and that whole fucking shit show of the Red Ring of Death. That is still an issue years later, even though the console is no longer being made. You can still buy an Xbox 360 in its original packaging, and you're still potentially risking the Red Ring of Death, even on all the various versions they came out with that thing.
Yeah.
You still have the potential for that to happen. I mean, you would have thought after a year of that shit, they'd have done something more extensive to fix it. Nope. They just kept making them exactly the same way. And, they didn't care. They had the money to afford it. But you look at the climate now with, microchips being so rare and so difficult to get a hold of, which is why the systems aren't on mass available at the store. I mean, if this happened when the 360 was out, I guarantee you Microsoft would have done whatever they had to do to fix it. And they also just announced that they're coming out with a newer version of the Xbox X that's supposed to drop this fall to compete with the PlayStation 5's next like upgrade system, the Pro version of the PS5. And I'm like, why? I mean, you guys already made a huge leap with both of these consoles in the way they act and the way they perform. Why, when you're still struggling to get these consoles in people's hands, would you try to release a newer, more expensive, and only slightly better console from what you've already put out?
Right.
I don't understand it. It's like, to me, that's like, I definitely would not try and buy the new shit because it's fuck that. It just doesn't seem worth it. I won't lie. It almost makes me want to just say screw it and jump to PC. But I hate PC gaming because I can't afford it. God's honest truth. So, but I don't know. I just so again, this is what's going on over with Elder Scrolls Online. Microsoft is pushing this. Um, yeah, I asked my friend Danny how he felt about it, and he was like, "Man, it's not going to have an effect on anything." And then I guess he finally read an article on it and found out all that. And he's like, "Man, I just wasted a shit ton of money."
Yeah.
So, yeah, because he just bought like the newest pass or whatever that's supposed to be coming out, whatever. He pre-ordered it or something, and so he's just like, "Fuck that."
Oops. Yeah.
And he's in the same he's in the same boat you're in. Like, he pretty much plays that game alone. Occasionally, one of his friends will jump on and play with him, but it's like he's like you. He's predominantly a solo player, and it's like now
Yeah,
it's
and
what's the
that's
point?
exactly what I'm saying. That's what goes back to is if you're going to be playing alone, there's no point to nerf anything. And if they nerf it, then you can't play alone anymore, and then you're screwed.
So the
Like
biggest
every
issue,
once in
and
a
this
while,
is
my brother gets online and he'll play it with me. Every once in a while, he's usually
so.
playing something like Assassin's Creed, which is a solo-based game, and it's meant to be a solo-based game.
Mhm.
When you take a group-based game and turn it into a solo-based game, I mean, if they're not nerfing the other stuff too, if they're just nerfing the players' abilities and stuff, yeah, they're going to be out a lot.
So I don't know the full extent of the nerfs. Danny basically pointed out that his time playing Elder Scrolls Online alone is pretty much done. He's gonna have, find something else to play because yeah, there's no point. And he also doesn't see the point in investing any more money into it because if he can't and go out and do what he wants to do and enjoy himself, well, what's the fuck? What's the point? And
Right.
so yeah, I don't know. It just that and I was gonna liken it to something that happened in Destiny, and I pointed it out already, but you've made a good point of something.
What's that?
Elder Scrolls Online was not intended to be a solo player game. Destiny is the same way. Just like what happened to you and to Danny has happened to me with Destiny. Yes, you play it, but even then, it's like to really play some of the activities in the game, you need a group. You don't need just one buddy. You need like
Oh
four
yeah,
other
yeah, yeah,
people.
yeah.
So it's one of those things. It's like, fuck, man, I want to play these things, but the mechanics aren't there. The difference with Destiny and games like World of Warcraft, or I think even Elder Scrolls offered it, you could matchmake to do some of this end game activity stuff, but
Yeah.
Destiny doesn't offer that. And it's like, what the fuck? Why make this a thing if I can't even
Well,
attempt to do it?
I'd say Destiny kind of does when it comes to strikes because I've seen it say searching for fire team, and we've gone in and did a
Yeah,
strike
but
with a
that's
group of four.
yes. But my thing is, you have the raids, which have some of the best gear in the game, have some of the best perks in the game, and unless you have a group of 6 people, including yourself in that group, you can't do them. The only ways to play it to find a group or to leave the game, go online and find a group to play with, and you don't know who you're going to get matched with, just like the matchmaking. And it's a shit show to do that. So my
Yeah.
issue has always come back to why not just add it to the game and make this a function of the game, you know? And you could do it really simply, but I don't want to get into all that right now. But my point is, it just the bulk of the people that are playing these games nowadays are solo players. There are a lot of people, myself included in this, that have social anxiety. And so the idea of going out and finding a group of people to play with is not always easy or fun to do. It's very taxing on our mental health and mental states. Um, I know because that's what I endure every time I try to do it. I like to
Right.
have just people I trust and I know and I'm comfortable with. I don't mind new people coming in, but at the same time, I still want to have that core group. Even if it's just 3 or 4 people, if I had that, I would be fine with randoms coming in there. I've done it with Geo. Anytime I've played with Geo, he's got his group. I join him. I know some of these people, but for the most part, I know Geo, and I'm fine with that. Like we did the dungeon, you, me, and Geo. I wish I'd streamed that, and I'm also glad I didn't because it was a shit show. But that was fun for me. For me, I was playing with 2 of my buddies, and I had a blast. I wish it had been a better experience for you, but I was having fun even though we were not doing as well as I'd hoped. And that's just because I'm an idiot. And I, again, take responsibility for what happened that day. But that was more fun. Even though it went the way it did, that was still more fun.
Yeah.
Um, and I miss that experience. But most of the time, I'm playing solo. Warframe, I play it almost exclusively solo. There were aspects of the game in that game, in Warframe, that I never got to participate in. And I've been playing that game since it launched on PlayStation all those years ago, 8 years ago now. Never got a chance to try it because I just didn't have the group of people. And it's like, that fucking sucks. And that's how I feel about Destiny now. That's why it's like with Warframe, I still feel like I can accomplish a hell of a lot playing solo. Kind of like how you feel about Elder Scrolls. You can still get a bunch of stuff done. Maybe not as much as you want, and you can't go after the certain things you want, but you can get them done. But in Destiny, I half of the shit I want to do, I can't do. I just don't have the people, and it sucks.
Right.
And I think developers need to take a look at that. Not just Bungie, but all developers that are making games that are intended for group play and going, what about the people that absolutely just don't have friends that want to play this game or whatever
I
the case
don't.
may
Why?
be?
What's up?
So, but we have definitely hit that 1 hour mark. I don't know how we got there. I rambled way too long again. But that is probably going to do it for us, you guys. We thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you guys enjoyed the show this week. Next week, we will try to touch more on Soulframe. But yeah. Do you have anything you wanted to close with, dude?
I mean, I got nothing.
Anyways, all right. So that's gonna do it for us, you guys. I gotta get out of here. I will see you guys next week. Thank you guys for joining us. Until next time, adios.